Shred it. Alright, I'm not going to talk, probably not going to talk through this whole thing, but this is my first ride out on the GASGAS ec300, the headlight bike, and this is about a quarter of the way into the ride, and we were just kind of putzing around. I was getting the feel for the bike. I'm coming off of a 2017 250 KTM. This bike has taken me like very little time to feel comfortable on. Just on this ride, I felt a little bit awkward right at the very beginning of the ride, and I am running a Moose in the front tire with a IRC M5B on the front, which is kind of a little bit more gummy than what I'm used to, so I did feel a little squirmish right off the bat, but by the end of the ride I felt like right at home. But I wanted to get behind Bill, my buddy here. He's actually the guy who got me back into riding. I kept sitting on his dirt bike in his garage, and I hadn't been riding in like 12 years actually. And he kept seeing his bike in his garage, and I said, alright, screw it, I'm getting a bike. So I got a bike. But lately I haven't been going on too many trail rides. I probably should have made a better effort in some areas to just stay a little closer to them for the sake of the GoPro. But I felt like I was closer when we were out there. Anyway, a lot of this stuff isn't unbelievably challenging, but you know, some of the stuff you can't really tell how gnarly it is because we're going so fast over it in some of these spots. So we're keeping a pretty good pace. This is one of my favorite trails for like trail riding. To me, this is perfect. Lots of little boulders where you just kind of have to let the bike do its thing underneath you and not overreact or make too many herky-jerky moves. So I really enjoy this type of riding. But and the other thing is, this is the moment where I was like, oh, this is the right choice, because the suspension on this stock, just stock suspension on this GASGAS is just incredible for this type of riding. I might make a few tweaks to the bike, like I might bring the forks up just a hair, because I'm used to the 17 KTM that was, the front end was like a lot lower than this bike, and it seemed like I could make like tight corners, especially on downhills, which you wouldn't think you'd want your front end down a ton, but it seemed to me that I'm really able to, like, at the last second, even if I'm going a little too fast, I could dive in and make like a rut if I need to right at the last second. In this bike, I felt like just wasn't quite turning quite as sharp, and it's just getting used to it too. And with the mooses in the wheels, I think it wants to stand you up just a little bit more. Plus, it's just a little bit heavier than the 250, so naturally it's going to want to push you into the corner a little bit further. So it's just getting used to those little differences. Now, as far as the TPI goes, I know there's a lot of mixed feelings and debate on whether it's better or worse or whatever. And I know that I'm not unique in owning one of these GASGAS 300s, or even a KTM or Husky or whatever, or just any TPI bike. I see it on Instagram. Everyone's riding. It seems like a lot of people are riding this bike and have the, I guess, 20 or 21 to 23 or whatever, the new models with the TPI. And I get it that a lot of people don't like TPI, or they're not partial to it, and I can see why. But for what I do and the type of riding I do, I honestly don't feel that much of a difference from riding my 17 with the carburetor to this bike. The way I ride and use the power, I'm usually lugging the bike at low RPMs and doing really slow stuff. And then the thing is, like with this TPI bike, it still gives you everything you need if you want to do a hill climb, or if you need a lot of power. It just doesn't feel the same way. Almost feels quieter and smoother, and there's not as much vibration. It's like, so to me that's like a positive thing. I like it. Some people like that grunty, more motocross, like low end, super hard hit. There's something to be said for that. But for the majority of the riding I do, I think it's fine. And like, especially if I'm doing wheelies and stuff, the power just seems so consistent and reliable with the throttle and the clutch. Like the clutch on this GASGAS 2, by the way, is unbelievably easy to pull stock. Like it's one of the reasons I actually got the bike. It's like one of the big selling points, because my KTM it was pretty hard to pull compared to this. And for me, I think, especially like in a hard enduro, that would be great for longer races. And just doing wheelies and stuff like I like to do, and pivot turns and all the slow speed stuff. I think it's great. That's just my opinion as of now. And you know, I'm not a full-on expert of the TPI, technically, or even as a rider. And I'm sure if you asked Cody Webb or Mario Roman or Johnny Walker what they preferred, you might get a whole different answer, since those guys ride carbureted bikes at a super high level. I'm just giving you kind of my first impressions of it. I don't really understand how this stuff works exactly. I just know that it doesn't seem to affect me in a negative way. That's just my opinion. If you want to know like about my riding and the kind of stuff I do, check my Instagram page out, my Splatmoto Instagram page. It has I usually keep it the kind of things that I like to do riding wise. So that could be just static balance in my, you know, wherever my bike happens to be, or whatever, just slow speed stuff in my driveway. That's honestly the majority of what I like to do, so you got to keep that in mind when you're taking my opinion into consideration. Obviously, this is just a first impression ride. In another month or so, maybe I'll get more of a review on the bike and how I feel about it. As of right now, pretty darn stoked on it. Good though. Hey, it's me again. Just wanted to say thank you for watching the video if you did. I appreciate if you guys subscribe, maybe even like the video. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments section. Hopefully I get more reviews going. I'll get more of a long-term, or you know, an updated review on the GASGAS within the coming months maybe, and I'll let you know what I'm thinking about the bike. And appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you next time.
to tell how fast we're going.
That was a good pace.